Peace and love, crypto family. Today is 6/24/2025, and right now XRP is sitting at $2.17, which is crazy. Basically this right here in a quarter, man. And y'all aren't buying in, but the thing is, it's gonna be $10,000, and I'm over here showing y'all right now. I don't know where my quarter went, but it's just like $2 right now. Crazy. But anyways, y'all, tonight's gonna be a pretty quick episode. I have court in the morning for my restraining order. Thank you Jesus, for my restraining order against this woman that tried to murder me and tried to send someone to murder me. My ancestors, my God spiritual team, they're telling me that I am going to get justice for this tomorrow. So we're going to see. I'm thinking, well, I heard prison time. That's what I heard from my ancestors, but I'm going to give y'all an update tomorrow night, right? But yeah, y'all, I'm so excited because people don't understand how much I actually have been through. To go through so much and in the end have a spiritual awakening, you know how much stuff you have to go through, how much work you have to put in, how much healing and how much time to get to the point that I'm at right now. So much shadow work, over 9 years of it. But I'm gonna get mine. My spiritual team is telling me that once this girl's put away in jail, my divine partner, my 222, is gonna feel safe again to express how she feels towards me, because that person, that 666 woman who held me hostage, harassed her, manipulated her, and put her in fear. So this is what my spiritual team is saying. But anyways, guys, let's see where we're at. I hope this isn't, hold up, no way. Okay. All right, I'm not even gonna lie, it's pretty hot in here, but that doesn't really matter right now because what I'm trying to achieve right now is far greater. But yeah, guys, just remember to manifest and love yourself and really focus on healing your inside, because once you can heal your inside, you can start to manifest and use Christ's energy and things like that and really get close to God. And I wanted to mention, like I mentioned today on my TikTok, in the spiritual realm, sleep is very important. If your body is focused on you not having stress, then God can't use your body in the way he needs to, because your body's distracted. So make sure you get your rest. Ooh, it's hot and I gotta get ready for tomorrow. I have to wake up in 7 hours. 7 hours for court, basically 6 after I get done with this video and uploading it. But anyways, we are on chapter 3, Unconditional Love for actually, my bad, what am I saying? No, that's not right. We are on chapter 4, Unconditional Love for Others. We are on overcoming resentment and forgiving others. Like, I forgive my ex, but she's gonna have to face her karma, you know? Do I forgive her? I don't know if I forget. I have no ill feelings towards her. I would definitely not want her in my life anymore, and I definitely think she needs to go to prison. But I'm not gonna hold myself down with her energy, is what I'm trying to say. Alright, when you look back and review the beliefs, ideas, and conditions that you have tried to live up to, you often realize that the origin resides in the domestication you experienced in the past. This can be a very troubling realization for some of you. Depending on the level of subjugation you experienced growing up, if those with power inflicted their will on you via force or manipulation, and especially if subjugation was harsh or even extreme, it can be very difficult and almost impossible in some cases to see them through the eyes of unconditional love. Even for those of you who didn't have a particular traumatic experience with domestication, there are a very few people who don't have some anger or bitterness over incidents that occurred during their formative years. Resentments that stem from past domestication are some of the biggest stumbling blocks to seeing others through the eyes of unconditional love And that's why it's important to heal yourself so you can see people for who they truly are. The word resentment is French in origin, and it literally means to feel again. One of the primary beliefs of doing this work is that you have no longer allowed any conditioning or experience from the past to control you in the present. By definition, if you are holding on to resentment, then you are enslaved to the past. Something that has occurred is already done, is actively causing you suffering now as you feel it again and again. This is what resentment is, self-inflicted suffering with the emotional poison we wish for another. Anger, resentment, and grudges are all tools that the parasite uses to strengthen itself and take control of your mind. And here again, its methods are very sneaky, because while the parasite may accurately point out how you were mistreated at the hands of another, the solution it offers is to stir up the negative emotions of anger, sadness, bitterness, etc., and encourage you to at best withhold your love from those who hurt you, and at worst to strike back at them with revenge. The parasite always reaches for the tools of conditional love, and no ultimate good ever comes from employing them. Instead, you are lost in the fog again, and your dream is tied to a story of victims and villains. Unconditional love and forgiveness of your domesticators is the way out. This can be some of the most difficult work you will do, so be gentle with yourself as you embark on this road, especially if you are suffering greatly at the hands of others. In addition to forgiving those who harmed you, you also need to forgive yourself. That's because many people, when they look deeply at past experiences or domestication, find that they are angry with themselves for either staying in a situation or not doing more to break free. If this applies to you, remember to forgive yourself for that too. You were doing the best you could at the time. There is no need to beat yourself up, and that's true. I was in that toxic relationship that I almost died in for like 5 years or something crazy. It was like on and off, you know, but I'm not gonna feel destroyed and hate myself because of it. You know, you live and you learn. I learned a valuable lesson, and I gained so much from it in the end. Respecting yourself also means being honest with yourself. If you are not ready to forgive, that is your truth. Don't subjugate yourself with "I have to." If you are not ready, you are not ready. And the acceptance of yourself with this truth is practicing unconditional love. After all, it is about breaking the cycle of domestication. Take your time. It is your preference to become ready to heal. Forgiving, the final step of healing a wound. All right. I be feeling like I got these little fucking bugs that always somehow get in here. Like, they're like real small, but I keep feeling like I'm feeling them. Performing a forgiveness ritual can help you clean out old emotions that are keeping you trapped in suffering of the past. We will do just that in the exercises that follow. Ooh. And many of the world's beautiful spiritual traditions provide wonderful prayers and other practices for doing so. In the Toltec tradition, we also advocate another step to see beyond the stories of villains and victims and into the healing power of forgiveness. The key to doing this is at the heart of my father's third agreement. Don't take things personally. When you practice this agreement in all its implications, you realize that nothing anyone does is because of you. It's never personal. Even if someone intends to be so, as you are simply standing in the target zone. Seeing the truth of this allows you to better let go of the past and embrace the truth of the moment. Your domesticators were only doing the best they could given their level of consciousness at the time. When you reflect of this agreement deeply, forgiveness comes much easier because you realize that the actions of others were about them and their suffering, their attachments, and their domestications, and you see that they were lost in the fog, drunk at the party, and as a result, they didn't have the faculties to act in any other way. Respect them and allow them to experience the consequence of their actions. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. It is the way that life teaches us. Seen in this light, we can better grasp the meaning of Jesus' statement, Father, forgive them, for they do not know. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Luke 23:34. If you have clouded your personal dream with resentment, the first step to changing this is to become aware of it. Once you see what is really happening, the next step to moving past is forgiveness. Doing so allows you to tap into the power of unconditional love for others. The next exercises will help you go deeper into the process. So this is a forgiveness ritual. On a sheet of paper, make a list of everyone you have mistreated, that have mistreated you in the past that you have not yet forgiven. This list could include members of your family, friends, co-workers, acquaintances, and beyond. Review the list of names and think briefly about the incidents involved. Next, read the following statement out loud. I blank am ready to forgive all those who inflicted pain and suffering on me in the past. I choose to forgive them so that their actions of the past can no longer affect my present. My wish is to see them through the eyes of unconditional love. I also forgive myself for anything and everything related to these events. I was doing my best at the time. I pray that these people and myself can experience only love and peace going forward. Like after this girl goes to prison and does her time, I hope she finds the love of her life and finds God and gets right with God. Because at the end of the day, I'm here to raise the frequency of the whole world. And if we can get one more person to start following God, amen. But people have to face their karma. This isn't a get out of jail free card just because you need to get closer to God. No, God said you must face your karma. Just as you did in the preceding chapters, exercise when you forgave yourself. I want you to take the piece of paper, crumble it up, and throw it away. As you do so, visualize all the negative feelings you have about these people and the events going into the trash as well. This simple ritual is the beginning of replacing resentment with unconditional love for those who have caused you suffering. That being said, with the pain inflicted by others is extreme, and active forgiveness is rarely a one-time event. As a result, you will likely need to repeat the affirmation statement every time the events of your past replay on your mind, and you feel them again. As the parasite is attempting to lead you down the wrong and negative and unconditional love. As the parasite is attempting to lead you down the road of negativity and conditional love. There we go. I'm reading, like, if you look at it, it's like blue and red, and I'm already dyslexic, so. If there is someone on the list who you are having special trouble forgiving, say the prayer below every night before you go to bed, inserting the name of the person or persons you'd like to forgive. I pray that blank receives everything they want in life, including the experience of unconditional love, peace, and happiness. And this is very powerful. Once you can actually ask for forgiveness for the people that have done you wrong, and you can pray for them, it not only helps them, but it also helps you heal inside, because you no longer hold this pain. You sent your love out, and you did what you need to do. Some of you likely bristled as you read this, as the prospect of praying that these people receive everything they want is perhaps the opposite of what you think you want for them. I understand this sentiment, but I would encourage you to give this prayer a chance and repeat it every night for 2 weeks, even if the words don't feel sincere. Many people who have done this exercise constantly for 2 weeks have been amazed by the changes that occur inside them. Remember, forgiving others is something you're doing for yourself, not for them. Forgiveness does not mean that you forgive the events of the past, nor that you condone any actions. Rather, it frees you from being controlled by them by remembering that they are only responsible to the tips of your own fingers. It frees you from being controlled by them by remembering that you are only responsible to the tips of your fingers. The final exercise is a section will help you continue on the path of forgiveness. Alright. This exercise consists of 2 written parts. Maybe I can charge this phone while we're doing it so I don't have to like wait again to upload it. I don't know. Who knows if that worked, but forgiveness dialogue. This exercise consists of 2 written parts in each about a paragraph in length. To begin, I want you to look back over your life and identify an event or situation where you experienced significant suffering at the hands of another. Think of a time when someone either tried to or did domesticate you by forcing their will onto you in a harsh or extreme way. This should be This should be a major event that created a shift in your personal dream, that changed the way you viewed others, likely imposing their flaws, and ended up becoming a defining moment in your personal story. Many people have experienced something like this, most likely during the formative years, but it could also be something that occurred as an adult. Write down the details of the event as if you were going to tell someone who had not previously had knowledge of it. Take your time and replay the details in your mind, going back to the moment so you can remember what happened and how you felt. And here's the important part. Write from your perspective at the time, not from where you are now. Be raw in the moment. Let your feelings flow and do not edit yourself with knowledge of what is right and wrong, or try to be forgiving. Remember, this exercise is for you, and unless you choose to share this with someone else, you will be the only person who ever sees it. Here is an example from a dear friend of mine. One night when I was 9 years old, I was at home watching TV when I heard my parents start to argue in the other room. I heard them fight before, but tonight seemed different. My mother came in and told me to go to my room and close the door, which was not unusual. I did as I was told, and sat quietly and fearfully in my room, listening through the thin walls as their shouts grew louder and louder. Then I heard something I will never forget. A blood-curdling scream from my mother, followed by an eerie silence. I froze in panic, wanting to leave my room but afraid of what I would find if I did. I opened the door and went down the hall to my family room. My father was sitting alone on the couch, and when he saw me, he said, "Your mother ran out of the house. Go see if you can find her." I remember being scared of him and angry with him at the same time, but my main concern was my mother. I went outside to look for her. It was dark and I was afraid. I looked into darkness and called out to her, but she didn't respond. Then I noticed the neighbor's porch light was on. As I walked over toward the porch, I could hear voices and my mother sobbing. I asked her what happened, but in my heart I already knew. "Your father hit me," she said. "He beats me." I was overcome with a combination of rage and sadness, and I swear to protect my mother if he ever tried to do that again. "If he ever does that again, I'll kill him," I said. That evening was life-changing for me, as for the first time in my life, the dark side of my father was in full view. He took his own life 6 months later. Okay, we're getting it. In my friend's case, his father was attempting to domesticate his mother, and in conjunction, my friend, through the use of force. Your example might not be as extreme, or could be more so. To get the most out of this exercise, I encourage you not to read any further until you have written down the example in your own life. Once you have come back and continued with this exercise, once you have come back and then continue with exercise. This next part involves your imagination.